Hey girlfriend, call me. Hey, my name is Gigi Cunningham. And Gigi's a movie star I haven't seen in my life. I came here to say, hello everyone. This is who I am. But let's go.
You want a piece of me? Yeah, you know you wanna Go with the boom, boom, pow. You ain't on my swag radar.
At ShopRite, we've got everything you need for a family Easter feast with low prices on your freshly baked favorites, a range of delicious roasts, tasty treats, and chocolate sweets. You'll also get massive deals like 1 kilo Stork 40% fat spread, only $33.99, and 2 liters Oros squash concentrate, just 30 emalangeni. Celebrate more this Easter at ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust. Always.
A good man tests for HIV to protect himself and his family.
I am a woman who cares for my family. We all know our HIV status.
We are youth leaders standing strong for health.
Don't make fun of HIV. You might hurt a friend.
Call 1212 on HIV self-testing and where to get a test kit.
Eswatini TV, Sibuko Semaswati.
It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Saneboy Ngwane. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We're coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios in Mbabane, and these are your top stories tonight. The Minister of ICT has officially opened her ministry's portfolio committee meeting. The Minister of Home Affairs today visited the temporarily closed Ngwenya border post. And the United Nations has donated mobile factory shells to business Eswatini women. And now the news in detail. Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Princess Khanyiso, has officially opened her ministry's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee workshop on the National Archives Bill 2020. The minister says archives and records are crucial in preserving culture, amongst other things. The meeting was held at the Happy Valley Hotel in Zulwini.
Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Princess Khanyiso, says National Archives and Records Service Bill 2020 will accommodate changes brought about by electronic records management as well as the records continuum model. The minister said this when officially opening her ministry's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee workshop on the bill on Friday.
That we should protect our heritage with everything. safeguard it for the day of trouble, and make it accessible to the citizens to whom it belongs. Inclusion is key. Governments need legislation for compliance. Governments need legislation to ensure that records and archives are managed and preserved accordingly for future generations.
Also present was Portfolio Committee Chairperson Makfotsiband, who will protect things that are valuable to the kingdom.
This bill is pertinent in preserving cultural heritage in Jongobangshito, because if we don't restore our history, foreign storytellers will write, will tell, will sell our history at a higher price.
Principal Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Maxwell Masugu, said the minister was always available to guide them through everything.
You're always available to advise and guide. La politiko khona setibona bumnyama bodwa. So kithi siyathi kusawucha bekasivele asolo akhona. Asibambisile silitiko lapho sesingaboni khona.
For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Bawethu Stole and Nomalungelo Chele, Ezulwini.
Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Princess Kanyiso, says she's been physically absent from work for an extended period because of labor complications. The minister says her absence does not in any way mean she's not true to her oath of office. Temgosi Mavimbela has more on that story.
It is therefore with respect I submit my unfeigned apologies for my absence from work for a period that alarmed the nation. In hindsight, the timing of my pregnancy was not wise, given the economic state of the kingdom and the timelines set for my outlined vision for the ministry. After devoting my entire life to the kingdom, in that split moment, I chose myself. Sadly, whether due to emotional or mental duress, I experienced rare complications with giving birth. Giving birth is on its own a harrowing experience. I'm sure more people can attest to that fact in the house. Moreover, giving birth at the height of COVID and during the first ever lockdown was a fearsome thing, since little research had been done on the prevention, mitigation, and cure thereof, and particularly the actual effects of the coronavirus on newborn babies. Be that as it may, 3 months can never suffice for healing and recovery. The constitution of the land was indeed contravened by my absence, yet I would still imagine that the import of the Constitution is to serve the people, is to be a refuge for the people, is to protect the vulnerable. Women, children, and those living with disabilities. Perhaps it can be revisited so as to align with other countries. In many countries, institutions give a fully paid leave to the maternal parent, and even fathers, because child rearing should be a shared responsibility. Despite my absence, I have been fully involved, fully engaged on all work processes of the ministry, as the PS said. Some have even occasionally seen me sneaking in. My promise is that my loyalty cannot be questioned. Due to deeply personal issues that cannot be disclosed, due to circumstances beyond my control, I have been absent, but in your hearts, you know, I have been true to the oath. I am true to the oath. I am the oath. Sifungo yinvo lenyatisabo, futhi sifungo akusiyo imvo lengiqalisabo eParliament. Having stated the above, it would be remiss of me to not thank and commend the Minister of Commerce, the Honorable Senator Mangoba Khumalo, for standing in the gap and doing a par excellent job holding the reins in my physical absence from the ministry, promoting the use of ICTs, driving the growth of the ICT sector, and seeing 5 bills through the House of Parliament, the House of Assembly. I also appreciate the Honourable Chairperson, Member of Parliament, Backford Spanze, for constantly debriefing me about all matters and exhorting me during a most difficult period in life. A few board members also reached out to me, but my true voice of reason has been Her Royal Highness Princess Nenge Nenge, who did not grow weary of offering me her shoulder, counseling me on many levels.
The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, has assured Maswati that the water issues on the South African side that led to the closure of the Ngwenya border post are being addressed. The Minister urges people to cooperate while relevant authorities are fixing the problem.
Ngemuva kokuvalwa kweligede laseNgwenya livalwe emalanga lamabili lengcile, indvuna yelitiko letasekhaya umfana Nkosi Lindiwe ivakashele
We apologize for the technical difficulties experienced on that story. But on behalf of His Majesty King Mswati III, Her Majesty the Queen Mother, government and the people of Eswatini, the acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku has congratulated the President of the Republic of Congo, Denis Sassou Nguesso, on his re-election as the President of the Republic of Congo on Tuesday, the 23rd of March 2021. The acting Prime Minister says in joining the people of the Republic of Congo in joy of his happy occasion, Maswati expressed their firm belief that the cordial relations between which have always been existed between the two countries will continue to be enhanced and strengthened in years to come for the mutual benefit of the two nations and the people. On another note, on behalf of His Majesty King Mswati III, Her Majesty the Queen Mother, government and the people of Eswatini, the acting Prime Minister Themba Masuku has congratulated the Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the government and the people of Bangladesh on the auspicious occasion of the 50th anniversary of their independence. Masuku reaffirmed Maswati's desire to further enhance and consolidate the bonds of friendship and cooperation that already exist between the two countries. Now we shall revisit our previous story. The Minister for Home Affairs, Princess Lindiwe, has assured Maswati that the water issues on the South African side that led to the closure of the Ngwenya border post are being addressed. The Minister urges people to cooperate while the relevant authorities are fixing the problem.
For the past 2 days, Maswati will travel for business, among other reasons, have been having problems crossing to Eswatini from the South African, issued by the South African authorities, states that they have been experiencing water issues which has disturbed the immigration workers from their side. The Minister for Home Affairs in Eswatini, Princess Lindiwe, has asked for patience from members of the public. Princess Lindiwe says those who need to travel to South Africa can use the other border post as an alternative. The long queues of trucks that were stuck in Ngwenya border post are slowly decreasing as most trucks are using other border posts such as Mahamba, which has been reported that they are experiencing long queues. For Eswatini TV, Sondomlangeni in Ngwenya.
The United Nations has presented mobile factory shells to Vukanbomage project, which is under business women Eswatini. Speaking during the presentation of the factory shells at the Far East Textile in Matsapa, the Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, said the Vukanbomage project has done a lot in saving the environment by contributing to the Patsa Sako Nawa campaign by making reusable bags.
United Nations President Coordinator Natalie Ndongose says women make a major contribution in community development. That is why the organization has donated the factory shells to the Vugani Bomage project. Ndongose was speaking during the presentation of the factory shells at Far East Textile in Matapa.
This container and the next ones, and I have told you, tell me, I have asked, tell me, tomorrow we can deliver 2, 3, 4, 5 what you have done of something that was a kind gesture. We are ready to respond when you call us again.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, says his ministry has already seen the contribution made by the Vugani Bomage project in preserving the environment.
As a ministry, the unpopular decision, use of plastics in the country, which had caused a lot of devastation to our environment in the past years. Little did I appreciate that this decision will unlock what has now become a thriving business for women of this country. Business Women Eswatini has demonstrated ingenuity and innovation by spotting the opportunity created by the ban in the use of plastics. Undoubtedly, I would like to say that what has happened has led me to believe that doing the right thing always pays dividends. I'm therefore pleased that today I get to witness those dividends for myself, and I would like to wholeheartedly congratulate and say, well done Business Women Eswatini, well done Vugani Bomage project.
Since the presentation doubled as a celebration of Women's Day, some speakers included His Majesty's Correctional Services Commissioner Lamakosini Lamini, European Union Ambassador Esmeralda Hernandez Aragonese representative, and Jenny Maloney, Ambassador to the United States of America. They all applauded Business Women Eswatini for supporting women in rural communities. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Muzi Mkonda, Matapa.
The Ministry of Tinkunda Administration and Development has presented farm implements worth 1 million emalangeni to Njengombasha Multi-Purpose Cooperative from Mhlambeni Nkundla. Presenting the farm implements to the cooperative, the Minister, David Ngampalala, said farming plays a critical role in the country's development, which is why the ministry has supported the project.
The Minister of Tinkunda Administration and Development, David Ngampalala, says government works very hard to help Emaswati at grassroots level. The minister was speaking during the presentation of a 5-ton tipper trailer, harrowing discs, 3 plows and 2 seeders to Njengompasha Multi-Purpose Cooperative at Mhlambeni Nkundla.
Emave onke athuthuka ngokulima. Uma ke kunale misebenzi letawubisela lokuncane esiveni bathiphilise likakhulu basebenzisela ukuthi kuyalinywa kuyadliwa sinenkinga.
The minister says such initiatives by the ministry are meant to ensure food security in communities. He says Eswatini does not have enough food to sustain itself because it still sources it from other countries. The minister continues to say that members of the cooperative contributed about 112,000 emalangeni of the over 106 million emalangeni that was used by the ministry to purchase the farm implements. He further says government has invested over 3 million emalangeni in projects at Mhlambeni constituency.
I think sesikhathi nyalo ukuthi sale sisenza lo mhlabathi la siphewe naNkulunkulu lononile nangulo khona kuthi lokho sikusebenzise livela kangwane selike nalo ngekudla lize liphe ngaphandle.
Manzini Regional Administrator Chief Gicha urges members of the cooperative to help the needy. He says he expects them to take good care of the farm implements so that more people will benefit. The regional administrator further states that they should use these implements to plow fields at Umphakathi because that is where needy people go to when they want any form of assistance, including food. Chairperson of the cooperative, Joseph Sibanyoni, thanked government for the support. He encourages the members and the community to support the project. Sibanyoni further promises that they will work with the Hlambeni Inkundla has enough food. Member of Parliament Manzi Zwane says government's efforts to better the lives of the people in the constituency is visible. Zwane says government has supported water and electricity projects in the constituency, encouraging members of the cooperative to take good care of their farm implements. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Muzi Mkhonda, Hlambeni.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilakazi, urges Maswati to be safe from COVID-19 as they visit tourism establishments in the country during the Easter holidays. The Minister was speaking during the launch of the Easter holidays campaign by the Ministry or by the Eswatini Tourism Authority at the Royal Villas Hotel at Eswatini. The Minister was represented by the Principal Secretary, John Hlophe.
Speaking through the Principal Secretary John Hlophe, the Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs Moses Vilakazi says this year's theme for the Easter holidays campaign by Eswatini Tourism Authority encourages Maswati to ensure they are safe from COVID-19 as they explore the kingdom.
The Stay Safe and Stay in Eswatini Easter campaign reminds us all to exercise the utmost precaution when traveling to the various tourism establishments and tourism sites in Eswatini during this Easter period.
The Minister of Health, Liz Nkosi, says health workers should be trusted since they are well trained on their duties.
You can't even come into this ministry without having gone through training of sort, so you understand illness, you understand disease, you understand how it's controlled at every different level where we work. That is a blessing. The second blessing, whether we want it or not, even if you're lazy, the job demands that you dedicate yourself to the work.
Eswatini Tourism Authority's Chief Executive Officer Linda Nxumalo promises that tourism destinations have enticing packages.
Eswatini Tourism Authority, in partnership with the Hospitality and Tourism Association of Eswatini, would like to emphasize the continued need for strict adherence to all safety measures of health. We encourage Maswati to stay in Eswatini during the Easter period and reminding them that Eswatini has more to explore with the myriad of breathtaking landscapes and the tourism establishments across the country which are now open and ready to receive guests.
Mark Ward, President of the Hospitality and Tourism Association, promises that tourism destination will adhere to all the COVID-19 regulations. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Health officials on Friday met with the Lubombo region chiefs and traditional leaders to sensitize them about the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The Lubombo Region Health Administrator Happy Tsabetsi serves to educate the Lubombo region chiefs and clear misconceptions about the vaccine. Temelete Makuchwa has more on that story.
The Ministry of Health continues to educate Maswati about the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. On Friday, the ministry met with the Lubombo chiefs and the traditional leaders to capacitate them and avail them a platform through which they can ask any questions about the vaccine.
Sensitizing the leaders, the Lubombo region community leaders, so that we can gain support in the COVID-19 rollout for the vaccination of the population in the Lubombo region.
Prince Kusa, speaking on behalf of the Lubombo region chiefs, said they are very grateful to have such a platform where they are educated about the vaccine, and this platform also allowed them to have the myths about the vaccine on social media addressed. Prince Kusa continued to say that the chiefs in the Lubombo region are well prepared and ready for the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The Lubombo Regional Administrator Themba Msibi said this meeting has not only benefited the chiefs but the region as a whole, since the chiefs will now be taking back the knowledge gained to their different communities.
Kuvele kuba ngumkhubo walalibonjeni lokuthi sithanze lokuthi bobabe bahamba embili iyothi yofika le kulabantu lendzaba ukhanze ukuthi bobabe sebayadi bobabe sebangayiphendula hayi ukuthi ukhanze ukuthi babe nayo akade lutho.
The Ministry of Health officials said in 2 weeks' time, the second stage of the vaccine rollout program, which involves elderly people with morbidities, will commence. Reporting is Tembelihle Makuchwa with Temba Shabangu Stegi.
The SADC TV channel chairperson Mngatis Maisela says members of the South African Broadcasting Association need to work together to try and map a way forward about the implementation of the SADC TV channel. Maisela was speaking during a SADC TV channel workshop held in Namibia. Sondom Langeni has more on that report.
Senior officials from the information and communication sector met in Botswana last year, where issues of funding, infrastructure, types of channels and language to be used for the SADC TV channel were deliberated on. However, the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic delayed the implementation process. Members of the SABA need to find ways in which they can forge a way forward.
If we don't put our mind to what we want to do, the SADC TV channel as a bouquet will remain a pipe dream. So it is incumbent on us to make sure that we do the best that we can so that we can move this forward.
Mngatis Maisela, the SADC TV channel chairperson, explains some of the challenges that are hindering progress.
I think today's testimony to the challenges that we have been facing, in that most members have not been participating in these online meetings or the virtual meetings. Hence the request to the SABA board to actually try and have this physical meeting so that we map a way forward.
Currently, there is one program which is broadcast in Namibia for news-making headlines in the SADC region, which is the Eye on SADC. For Eswatini TV News, Sondom Langeni in Babane.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news making headlines in the world of sports. Slang Samnegati have lost their game against Guinea-Bissau in the AFCON qualifiers of Group I after being defeated 3-1 at Mavuso Sports Center. Sihlango head coach Dominic Gunene says he remains proud of his boys' performance despite being defeated.
Sihlango Semenigati faced Guinea-Bissau in their Group I AFCON qualifiers game at Mavuso Sports Center. Guinea-Bissau came to the game knowing that 3 points would increase their hopes of qualifying for the AFCON finals. Guinea-Bissau were quick to announce themselves within the first 15 minutes of the game with a goal by the international star Marcelo Gello, who plays in Spain. 5 minutes later, Sihlango equalized through striker Felix Badenhorst. In the last 5 minutes before the end of the first half, Guinea-Bissau doubled their lead to stay on the course to get 3 points on the day. In the second half, Guinea-Bissau came looking to confirm their victory when they got their third goal of the day. Sihlango stood a chance of getting a second goal when Badenhorst was brought down in the box and was awarded a penalty that he failed to put in the back of the net. The game ended on that note with the head coach of Sihlango Semenigati, Dominic Gunene, expressing how proud he is of his boys, beside being defeated on the day.
Then lomnyatibuto ukuthi ibonga njani effort siluzile asebenzile kakhulu ama-players sekuzinje ke siconsider amagoli lalula goal 2 number 2 na goal number 3 ngicabanga ukuthi kube goal number 2 kube long range kwaba ne-deflection lokusho ukuthi kusifunda ukuthi aseka-apply i-pressure naba-receiver emkhathini bebakeke ba-attempt. Then na goal number 3 sisetha uhlala phasi sim-analyze but nje-ke i-overall performance mina ngijabulile.
E aí conseguiu. A segunda parte controlamos o jogo, viu-se aos 90 minutos.
Basiro Kande, who is the Guinea-Bissau coach, said that the 3 points they collected gave them a chance to qualify for the AFCON qualifiers next year. Sihlango remains winless in 5 games, having only collected a point. Their final destination in Group I will be in Senegal on the 30th of March this year. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msondera, Manzini.
The Premier League of Eswatini says they will follow the World Football Mother Body FIFA's guidance on the COVID-19 vaccination rollout, which details that football players are not amongst the priority list to receive vaccination. The Premier League says they will keep updating the clubs on different rules and regulations being provided by the FIFA on the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Premier League of Eswatini held a press conference to give direction on how they plan to resume the 2020-2021 football season that was suspended last year, December, due to the coronavirus pandemic. And the Premier League touched on the issue of the COVID-19 vaccination rolling out that is already taking place in the country. The Premier League said that they will be following the guidance made by government and FIFA, which details that football players are not in the priority list of the vaccination program.
As we all know that His Majesty's government is already rolling out vaccination, the PLA has done a research to find out who is being vaccinated and if football players are in the priority list of vaccination program. It has been discovered that internationally, football people are not listed as a priority in the list of categories for the people that need to be vaccinated immediately. And our government have adopted the same protocol. In fact, scientists have proven that active athletes are in a better shape to fight the coronavirus than any other profession, as long as they follow the basic COVID-19 protocol of washing hands, sanitizing, social distancing, wearing masks, not sharing box of drinking water. Football officials over the age of 60 and or those with chronic diseases shall fall under the government category of second group to be vaccinated.
The Premier League highlighted that before the kick of the season, clubs will get to know when and how the procedure of testing COVID-19 players will be proceeding. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Babane.
Well, Eswatini, that brings us to the end of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. But before we conclude, here's a quick recap of our news making headlines tonight. The Minister of ICT has officially opened her ministry's portfolio committee meeting. The Minister of Home Affairs today visited the temporarily closed Ngwenya border post. And the United Nations has donated mobile factory shells to business Eswatini women. Well, Eswatini, that brings us to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 here at Eswatini TV. We shall cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the transmission crew here at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.